I'm Eric Naso with NewsShooter.com, and I'm here with Ted Sim. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
And of course, Ted is with the Aperture booth. And before we even start, Ted,
Yep.
location.
I know.
What's going on?
Look at this booth. I'm so happy. We're at this big booth. We've got this stage. If you'll believe it, 2 years ago, we had a super tiny booth all the way in the corner. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for hanging out. We're a super young company. We're like right across from Atomos right now in the center of Central. It's honestly like, it's a dream come true.
Well, it's fantastic. Ted, we have a very cool light here behind us. I think people are going to want to know about this. Let's just talk about this new product we got here.
This is the Aperture 300D. So 300D, what does that mean? Pulls 300 watts of LED power, 3 times as powerful as your 120D. So however you say your 120D is about, this is going to be about a 2K with this Fresnel on it. This comes out with an 82,000 lux at 1.5 meters away. Super freaking bright, starts in daylight. It's going to be coming out, we think, in the next 3 months. And it's going to be, for price-wise, it's going to be under $1,000. Tons of features to talk about here, but let's go over the basics. 1, aircraft-grade aluminum, super tough build. 2, Bowens mount. So if you guys know what the Bowens S mount is, basically you can use all of your softbox accessories, all of your photo accessories, your softboxes, your domes, everything can snap right here. You can put barn doors, reflectors, beauty dishes, you name it, you can put it on there. And 2, because it is a chip on board LED, what that means is that right here, instead of traditional LED panels, which have a lot of little LEDs around there, we've got one fat LED here, which means you get one hard shadow. A lot of the time when you look at those panels, you try to shine them on something, you get weird multi-shadows, you get ugly shadows. This will not give you that. That'll give you that nice, clean, crisp look.
Now, Ted, I see something interesting in the front of this COB. Yep. What the heck is that?
This right here is basically a magenta filter here. So this right here is going to do a couple things. 1, it's going to protect the actual chip on board LED. We're listening. I know you guys asked for it, so we gave it to you. 2, this right here is actually going to improve the actual TLCI of the chip on board LED. So what this is going to do is it's going to add just a tiny bit of magenta to your light. And when it adds that tiny bit of magenta, it's actually going to bump that TLCI rating up to 98.
98?
Over 98, a little bit actually. So come with the Joey meter, come check it out. So we're bumping the TLCI up even higher. We're increasing the output by 3 times our previous light. We're selling it for not that much more. And if you look at the size of this thing, it's not that hot. As far as actual distance and about how much bigger it is, it's only about 0.5 bigger. So super, super small. I don't think you've ever seen a 2K this small. And if you go down, we'll show you that ballast. Ballast got bigger. So the ballast got bigger, and that's cool though because we're not adding weight on top of the light. We're not adding it on the top anymore. Keeping it down here, and the reason it's got to be longer is because in the back here, we've got 2 battery mounts. So you've got 2 V-Lock batteries here. You can do Anton Bauer if you want that instead. But basically, it takes a lot of power. You got to give it a lot of power. Now your 2K light runs off of battery.
Nice. And like your other, the 120D, it required a higher amp battery. So if you're going to use batteries with this, you needed like an 11 amp battery, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So make sure you use an 11 amp battery. You need those.
Go higher in your ampage here. That's because this is, even though it's LED, it still pulls a lot of power. Again, if you try to plug in your tungsten light on batteries, that would never, ever fly. If you try to take your Joker or your HMI and put it on batteries, that'll never fly. Leave the Ginny at home. You've got a super powerful light that you can take anywhere. Take it on set. So on the front here, you've still got the same options as before. I'm going to turn this on. I'm not going to blind you. I'm just going to put it over there. Super bright, even without the reflector on it. Remote control operatable. So your Amarans, your Lightstorms, anything that you've bought from Aperture before, we're building in that ecosystem. We're not going to leave you guys behind. If you have your previous lights, we will make sure that all those lights work perfectly with these. So if you bought, for instance, the Amaran HR672, about the 672, that was 3 years ago. That remote works with this remote. Keeping it all in the same family. You can do the same channels. I could put an Amaran on the same channel as this Lightstorm. On here, I've got my Force fan. The fans are kind of cool, actually. So let's go to the bottom here. So, fans here, if you look here, if you know the 120D lights, they have a PC fan built in here. This is actually the same fan that the MacBook Pro uses. So if you put your ear next to it, it's super silent. This one is no different. Put your ear next to it, you can put the mic next to it. Yeah. You're not going to hear anything. Now, for this one, this is a bigger light, and we have to put 2 fans in there. However, one of the things we didn't want to do is we didn't want the noise to stack. So we have 2 fans. They rotate at different speeds. One goes slightly slower than the other, and what that means is that the pitch is not going to be the same. That noise is not going to stack. One of the things you guys wanted was you wanted, when you transport your 300D light, you wanted just a little cap that would protect this chip We're giving it to you. We're going to start putting it in the old packages. Again, we're listening to that feedback. We're trying to give you guys what you want. To have a light like this, for instance, the goal of this is to replace your HMI lights. This is to replace, say, your 800 Joker, which is like a staple on almost every big production set. Better, more efficient technology. It's not as hot, uses less power. Behemoth in strength, and we're making the size smaller and smaller.
Okay.
This ships in a case as well. The case is going to be super, super tiny, but it'll all come included, of course, doing the aperture thing.
Now, and this is also different. If you're a 120D user, talk to me about the power ballast.
So one of the things that we had on the 120D, we'll start with the connections actually. So the connections before, we have an XLR. This is a 5-pin XLR, and it goes down here. Previously, we had a Limo style connection on here. Now it's a little bit different. Now we have another XLR. So what does that mean? That means that if you wanted to extend it, it's really, really easy to find just XLR cables. Now, we don't recommend you going twice as long as sort of the max that we recommend, but we just wanted to use standard cables that you guys can go find. So making that. On the bottom here, XLR again to XLR, so if you want to extend it even further, you could do that. Given the options to you, and here is our new kind of ballast. This right here is regulating the power so that you can plug it in. We needed a more intense ballast because it pulls more power. This thing's a beast. This right here, it has a little thing here. It kind of lifts off the ground so the fans will keep it cool. Okay. But it is one more piece. We understand that is a little more weight. But again, we're keeping it off the light. You know, we understand, we watch how people use it. You rig those lights in the air. Why would you put everything up there? It's just going to be heavy. Keep the weight on the ground or on the stand. And then this thing can be light as can be.
And it looks like the design here, Ted, is that it was designed to be on the ground.
Yes.
So you made it all metal, it's not plastic.
Yep.
So, if it unfortunately is on the ground, things can be
step on
kicked
it?
or
Yeah.
pushed. It's designed to be strong.
Yes, designed to be strong. There's a lot of lights that have ballasts like on the floor. For instance, like the older Kino flows, those will all lay on the floor. You got to build those things tough as can be so that they won't break. This is no different. Even the actual port input has some protection on it as well. Trying to keep it all there. It's a fail-safe as well. And if you think about the output on this, this pulls 300 watts. It's about a 2K. That means that you can essentially plug 6 of those into a household circuit. Technology is amazing.
It is amazing.
When could you ever have 6 beastly lights plugged into a household circuit? So we think really this is going to be the next wave, and we think it's really the future just because not only is it the future in technology, but it's also just affordable for everyone,
Price and availability.
You bet. Coming out in under 3 months, and it's going to be under $1,000.
All right. Thank you, Ted. That's it from Aperture. Pretty nice. Big, soft, bright
Yes.
light. All right.